So I kind of just go on this. Do you want me to move across to here? Would that make life easier? Just speak.
Yes.
Oh God, how do I start? Oh, hi. Okay, so yeah. When I started writing this speech, it was really strange because I've been sitting in this chamber now for 3 years, listening to people do their leaving speeches, and I honestly never thought that I would be giving one. And it's partly that man's fault that I am, who held up the sunflower badge. So I guess thanks, and if you disagree with anything that I've done this year, you should complain to him as well. But also, you know, and the gentleman behind him, Johnny, both my campaign managers are there. So thank you for both turning out, that's really sweet. I basically want to say a whole load of thank yous. And this isn't a bitter speech at all, because that's not how I feel. Sorry to disappoint. But I do just want to say this. There are lots of things that happen in the Guild, and we've all sat in this chamber and at some point this year looked at each other with our eyebrows raised at what has been said or done. And I guess I just want to say this. Whenever you're doing anything here, or just in life, please don't look at where you differ, but at what you have in common. And I know that sounds really cheesy, and I felt the eye rolls from you guys, and that's cute. But you know what, I don't care. Like, be a cynic if that's what you want to do. And I apologise for the accusation of eye rolls if there weren't any. All through my life I've had people laugh at me, call me childlike, and disregard the legitimacy of my ideas and worth because they think I'm optimistic or naive. But you know what, we are an organisation that embraces people of all backgrounds and ideas, and I think it's really important to remember that at times. So, you know what, like, mental health is not something that only applies some of the time. It applies all of the time and to everybody. So this isn't a, and I hate you, this is a, please just be mindful of that whenever you speak or do. But that's it, that's the only negative thing, if that could be considered negative, that I want to say. I do just want to say a few thank yous. StuDev, because this isn't council, I can say things about staff. StuDev have been absolutely incredible this year, as they have all of the years that I've been here. And there have been times when they've just been so supportive and friendly and knowledgeable and really good fun. And I want to say a massive thank you also to everybody in Job Zone as well, because they do such a lot of work and they're quite often forgotten about. Also Student Voice. There's been a bit of a running joke this year that the place between the two sets of desks are the second Sab corridor, because we'll go in there, sit down, have a wine and a moan and maybe eat some cheesy chips. But they'll always sit and talk with us as well and have a laugh, and they've also been really supportive of the whole officer team as well. To student staff, you're such lifesavers sometimes. And there are some members of student staff who have actually become my really close friends this year. It's been really nice. And again, whether you work in tech or student voice or reception or on any of the frontline services or non-frontline services, you are appreciated and so valued and bring such light to the Guild. To David and Meg for putting up with me not actually technically living with them, just sleeping in the house. They're not here because they're not guildy, and I highly doubt they'll ever watch this. Or not guildy. No, I'm moving on to the second set of people. I have a group of friends up in Harborne that whenever things went really bad, I would get in the car and drive up there and just be like, I have to talk about anything other than my job and my life at Guild. And they're not guilty at all. So as I said, they're not here. They probably won't watch this. But I kind of want it to be minuted in a way. Also, the girls that I lived with last year, ditto to everything I've just said. And actually, the girls that I am really good friends with at home, who now actually have a working knowledge of the Guild, despite never setting foot in the building. So yeah, I'm sure I've missed someone out, and if I have, I'm really sorry. And it's tradition, sort of, to go through the Sabs as well at this point. I'm not going to say a lot, because I could just say it to your face in private. Poppy. Oh god, indeed. We've all had a hard year, but I know it's been particularly taxing on you sometimes. And I know the next year won't be all flowers and candy for us either. But you are an incredibly inspirational person and incredibly strong. And I do believe in you and in your leadership abilities. And like you said the other night, when we were chatting to the VC rather drunkenly, and you said, I'm going to miss Molly because we are so painfully blunt to each other. I just want to say I'm going to miss that too. Jet. I really didn't know you at all at the beginning. And I know you really distrusted me because I campaigned with Jen. Hi, Jen. But I really love that I got to know you beyond the guy that kicked me out of Burn FM every Sunday night. Did you know I did, Ben? I'm apologetic. I know, I'm sorry. And I will never forget all of the little conversation we've had when I've run into your office and been like, Jet, it's all falling apart, I don't know what I'm doing. And you've gone, now breathe, what's happening? And also when you and Vicky came to find me on one of the days that I really did need some space, and you went to all of my little safe places in the guild, and you still couldn't find me, but you didn't give up. And that's really symptomatic of both of you, actually. And I really appreciated that day. You know what I'm talking about. Leading me nicely to Vicky. We share a wall. To anyone who doesn't know what that means, our offices are separated by a very thin wall, which you can actually just talk through, and we do that all the time. And I discovered, when I was clearing out my office, a speech that Emma Packham made 5 years ago, in which she said to 4D, the VPS at the time, I'm really going to miss talking through the wall to you, and I put up a Facebook status about it, and for just a few minutes, the four of us, across 5 years, which as a historian makes me really happy, were connected, because I was like, we're not the only ones that do it, we talk through the wall as well. And I'm going to miss the disembodied voice of fun and laughter. And when you showed me the World Championships of surfing, you made my world, which gets streamed live if you didn't know. But yeah, you're so dedicated to sports teams, which obviously I totally get, our positions are very similar. But even when you broke your leg and you were still fighting to come in and we were going, no, stay at home. Again, inspirational. And this leads me on to Hattie, because I feel that this year I've been surrounded by inspirational women, and I'm so honoured to have been in the team with you three. Not that you, like Jet and Dave and Tom, aren't all wonderful as well. You are. But I was really scared when I ran that I would be the only woman on the team. And I have had personal experience of how that has been just by talking to other women who have been in that position. And I was really, really nervous about how that would make me feel in the positions that would put me in. So to have the three of you, and particularly the three of you, has been wonderful. And for all of the moments that we've shared, like just before the first Guild Council went out, all the pictures, thank you for all the support you've ever given me throughout the year. And specifically to Hattie, you're incredible at your job and everything that you do in higher education. And again, you've had a really tough year and you've just fought your way through it and done incredible things. And to have been on a team with you has been fabulous. Tom's not here, but I also want to say that he's remarkable, and hair aside, he's so incredibly principled and smart, and he's taught me so much about the way to campaign for the environment, which actually I took home and told my dad, and he's now doing things that Tom told me. So he is incredible and awesome. And again, hopefully I'll see him to tell more of these things to his face. And last but not least, we started campaigning together, and we didn't really know each other, and we became very close very quickly. And you were my lifeline for the first few weeks, a little bit. I don't think you really knew that. And yeah, we've had our moments this year. But it's good to know that we're in a good place and that we're still as close as we were. And I think the other night when you were saying goodbye to the RAs, I know you think I'm going to rip you for it, but that's just symptomatic of how awesome you are and how dedicated. I don't think anyone could ever say that you could have done any more for the RAs than you've done this year. You've worked so hard in your job and you've smashed it. And also to my non-sub buddy, Georgia. She's not here tonight because she's moving home. But if you watch this, Georgia, you're absolutely incredible. I told you earlier today when you were in the office. But you have been unbelievable. And as to the rest of the non-subs as well, I really believe that you should be called part-time officers rather than non-subs. Because non-sub sounds like you're slightly lesser, and if anything you're mightier because you do all of this in your volunteering time, and the stuff that you've all achieved, and Georgia especially, just because I've worked with her on a lot of the stuff, has been really amazing. And I'm really excited to see especially what Georgia does, because obviously we've had that relationship, but the rest of you as well. And now I've lost my place. But yeah, so yeah, I'm glad I got to be a part of this team, the whole officer team. But I'm also really, really proud that I got to be a part of student groups this year. There was a running joke when I started this year of, Molly Wright, have you heard I do student groups? Have you heard about student groups? Did you know that student groups do this? And yes, that's me. And you know what? I'm really proud of that, because I say that all the time, because student groups are incredible, and sometimes I do feel that they are underestimated. And actually, you know what, I don't feel they're underestimated by anyone in this room. But I just think that student groups do incredible things, and because they get on with it and they put out these amazing events and workshops, and they create such opportunities and support structures for students in university, because they function so well, people sometimes think, yeah, they do well, we don't need to think about them. Please do always encourage people to be a part of student groups, because I know so many people personally who have stayed in university purely because of the support student groups given them. And there have been groups this year who've made me really proud to be a VPAD, and there have been committees and individuals without whom I wouldn't have been able to vent or do my job as well as I have, which I think I've done all right, I hope. And you're amazing, and I am so privileged to have been a part of groups this year. And like, I think it's just epitomised in Guild Awards. I've never ever felt like I did when I stood on that Guild Award stage. And everyone was standing, and they were just, I can't sum it up, but it was amazing, and it was wonderful, and it was lovely. And I'm going to go now, but thank you.